here with a very exciting unboxing. And I know that the creator Heidi does such a beautiful job of wrapping her packages. Okay, now I see why everyone struggles with these. So much pressure when you're trying to film an unboxing. I'll spare you the pain and I will make this magically shorter. So, Yellow Door Tarot. So it came with a sticker and a beautiful little thank you note illustrated by Heidi and a yellow house blessing. May your tea stay ever warm. May your pantry feed the mouse. May your flowers grow and magic flow in your cozy yellow house. Heidi Dawn. So I found this deck on Shanna D's Instagram, and as soon as I saw it, I knew that I had to have it. The yellow house in particular has a lot of meaning to me, and her watercolor illustration style is just so darling that I knew that I had to have it. So the scent that I chose to match this deck and what I'm wearing now is the Nocturne Alchemy Sugar Cookie. And the notes are buttery sugar cookie accord, vanilla, delicious blend, and extra crystalline absolute. This just smells like a sugary, sweet sugar cookie. You can smell like the little crystals of sugar on top. And my nail polish. So when I painted last night, I had no idea that this was going to arrive today. I thought it was estimated to come like in a few days. And so I had chosen Bluebird Lacquer Kitty Wake Me Up Before You Go. It was between that and the same brand, I'm a Plover, Not a Fighter. And I chose the green, but I think that the orange would have matched a little bit better, but it's neither here nor there. So these beautiful little stickers. Let's see what we've got. So we've got a guidebook. So it sounds like she's dedicated this to her husband and 4 sons. So I have no idea how she keeps such a beautiful house with 4 boys. That is a huge feat that I am impressed with. So they look like they're about standard tarot size. Let's compare. Yep, beautiful. And I can tell already that this is a nice linen finish, no gilding. Let's take a look at some of the cards. And the Fool, that's her doorstep, I believe. The Magician. So much abundance. So on Heidi's YouTube, she does little clips that explain her thoughts behind the cards, and I'm curious if the guidebook descriptions match some of the ones that she's shown. Oh, I can flip them this way so you have a little bit of a longer look. So yeah, I just remember hearing her talk about a few of the different illustrations and just like the backstory behind them. And that's why we love indie tarot decks, right? It's that we get to hear the story behind the illustration, the artist's point of view, the reason why they chose to illustrate these different cards in ways that aren't traditional but have extreme meaning to them. And through understanding their point of view, we get to broaden our tarot understanding. So a few of the cards have like this is an example of one of the cards that she described on her Instagram, how her family would can peaches or jar peaches, and how much work it was, and how she didn't really want to, but after the process was done, they would have all these beautiful, delicious peaches to last them through the wintertime. And we didn't can peaches in my house, but we did can tomatoes, and I can relate to that feeling of like, oh my god, as soon as you see these like clamps come out, you're like, please no, I don't want I don't want to. And it's a lot of work, but the payoff after that work is it's worth it. So this was one of the cards that I noticed from watching flip throughs, don't really understand myself. So I want to come back to this one and do a little bit of reading in the guidebook. This one too, I love this one. It's spot on. All the different choices you have for tea. I have a real love for tea, and so high tea, teacups, trying all different kinds of tea out. Sometimes the like angle of like the way the hands are like throws me off just a little bit, and it's something that like I only noticed in the aces, but yeah. This is my nightmare. I love that one with the mitts. This one, like you can feel that like, oh my goodness, I wasted so much time and energy and the cookies are burnt. And like this brings up so much feeling and emotion. I love that. Macaroons, they're so much work. Okay, so okay, let's see what we can glean from the guidebook on these two cards. So 4 of Cups, because I agreed with Shanna's interpretation that it was like a little 4 of Swordsy. So the book says, rest and introspection. A hammock calls for you to rest. 4 cups are offered, yet 3 are set aside for later. 1 cup meets your needs, the needs of others can wait. You can set them aside for a moment while you sway in your hammock and nap. Your own cup must be full before you can share with others. How can I concentrate on my own needs and reconnect with myself? So I think that I probably would disregard the guidebook meaning and just look at it. I do struggle with this card. 5 of Cups, let's see. Overwhelm and resistance. Exhausted, staring at a pile of dishes when you'd rather be in bed. You feel the resistance inside. You don't want to do the dishes. The repetitive monotony of dishes every day. Where you go from here is entirely up to you. Procrastinate, delegate, get to work, or let it go. What can I do right now to deal with my feelings of overwhelm? See, that card to me is more like 10 of Wands. So let's take a look at the 10 of Wands with the burden. There are many types of burdens. Here the harvest has been plentiful. There are enough peaches to can for the entire winter. Such a task feels burdensome, yet this is necessary burden, one that will make you stronger for carrying it. However, not all burdens are this way. Some you may carry out of habit or a false sense of obligation, even guilt. What kind of burdens am I carrying? Are they productive or not? So it's almost like you get duplicates. So let's do 4 of Swords. rest and reflection. The candle's blown out, the paint's put away, and the sketchbook is closed. It's time to stop, rest. You can finish this tomorrow. This situation has been worked as much as it can be. Now let the subconscious mind sort things out as you sleep. When was the last time I gave myself a reprieve from my work? Yeah, so I think that I'm going to have to sit and develop my own meanings and interpretation for what these images portray, because on the guidebook, I'm not entirely certain that I like the overlap between the Four of Cups and the Four of Swords, and then the Five of Cups and the Ten of Wands. But that's like that's small potatoes, because overall the illustrations are absolutely beautiful. The little world that it brings you into, it's so unique, and I kind of like the small imperfections. Let's see how she shuffles. Yes, like butter. As I would expect for a deck that features a lot of baking. I love the cardstock, so that's a big win. Okay, so here's some fun little pairings. I have one deck in particular that is kind of old that I was really, really excited to pair with this, and this is the Extraordinary Oracle. I don't think you can get this anymore, but this is the deck that I was the most excited about when I saw Yellow House. So this is from 2016, and I haven't heard anyone talking about it probably since then. It's also got cool linen cardstock, and it's got a nice watercolor down to earth style. So let's just see what we get. It's almost like it needs just one stack. I think having two stacks is too much. Yes. Okay. Let's just do a quick read of the guidebook for both of these right now. Eight of Wands, flow state. When you're in flow, time stops and you find yourself blissfully in the zone. Working out of time, you feel the joy of moving through a process with ease. This can happen with a well-rehearsed song on the piano as you find the rhythm of gardening, or in the quiet strokes of a paintbrush. Practice and consistency form the path to this place. When was the last time I felt the joy of being in a state of flow? Interesting. So I really like that take on Eight of Wands, rather than it being like rush, rush, go, go, go. The typical image of like all of the wands. This is like a fresh novel interpretation that I really, really like. And I want to mention, I love that every single entry has a question at the bottom, because as you know, I love using my other decks to create spreads. So you could pull a tarot card, read the guidebook, use the question at the bottom to further introspect and pull other cards based on that question, like maybe pull oracle cards on that. And then for this deck, 39, map. Read the instructions even if you decide not to follow them. Do your research. Use your resources. Do your homework. There's more to this than you originally thought. The situation's more complex than anticipated. Don't throw caution to the wind. Impulsiveness will get you in trouble. I like that. Okay, so that was the Extraordinary Oracle. Next, I want to pair this with a Roots and Wings Oracle. Let's go back to one tarot and two oracle. thought that the watercolor styles might go together here. Yes, I like it. Like Yellow House brings you inside, and then Roots and Wings brings you back outside. So you have the balance of the internal and the external. I really like that. Yes, this is a win. One of the things that Shanna paired it with was the Color Mage Oracle, I believe. I don't have that deck, but I do have this color oracle. It's, again, one of the older decks in my collection, but I don't know the name of it. So if anybody knows what this one's called, please let me know, because I've been looking for the name of this for a really long time. I think that I would have to use this in the same way that Shanna did, where she goes through and pulls the colors that resonate for the actual image. These are the backs, if you know what they are. She goes through and picks, like, just off gut instinct, what colors, and then she kind of pairs it down. I'm not looking at the keywords. I feel like this one's like right in the middle of everything. Like it has this tone and the darker ones if you blend them all together. Ah, selfish time with the lovers. Okay, I'm with you, Shanna. Got it. Good. Okay. Phases and forests would go nicely. I think it might. Oh boy. It's a little bit visually stimulating. I think it would, again, go with one pile. Let's try a 1 by 1. Oh my goodness. I don't like this as much as the Roots and Wings with this deck. It's a little bit darker and not, like, it's a little too intricate, where Roots and Wings had like a little bit more simplicity to it. I think that one is not quite as visually cohesive, but I still would use the questions on this deck and maybe the questions from the guidebook. Like, I think those could play off of each other nicely, so I'm not completely writing that off. It's just not as visually cohesive as some of the other options. This one I also feel like is similar to Roots and Wings, is When My Soul Whispered. Yes. I think I like Roots and Wings a little bit better, but this is still a win. This is Wisdom of the Sacred Oracle. I feel like this is a go with everything deck. Yes. Yes. Okay. So this is, again, it kind of gives that vibe of like Yellow House is inside the house, internal, and the Wisdom of the Oracle has a little bit more like external, outside nature energy. And I like that balance together. That's a win. Another one of my favorite artists is Kathy Nichols, and she has this Flower Medicine Oracle. And I figured because Heidi features so many different floral motifs in her art, that maybe these would go nicely together as well. I think that the colors on the flower medicine are a little bit too bright, but I still like the idea of it being like florals going with the deck. Let's try again, a 1 by 1. I think it's pretty good. I would actually do a spread with that. So, okay, we've got just a couple left. One of them is one that I haven't stopped talking about, which is my little spirit kittens. This one is the witch kittens. It's the one with the gold gilding. So I think that even though I'm not a cat person, this house is like, it could have a little bit of cat energy, like tea time, kitties running around. Let's read what one of the back sides. It's okay. That's not really how I use this deck anyways, so oh well. Okay, last deck is Heavenly Bodies Astrology Oracle. I thought that the kind of like shabby chic vibe of the Oracle would go nicely with the deck. Yeah. So I like the color scheme altogether, and I would have to see in practice how I would want these two to play together, but I do like this. Yeah, they have the same color vibe, and I like the white border on both. So this is a yes for me. Okay. So, Yellow House Tarot. One of the last things is I know that this deck is just crying out for one of my knitted bags. It like just gives that like warm grandmotherly energy that knitting gives. So I'm gonna knit one of these bags that I make for it, and I just have to find the right color. The only yellow yarn that I have is this, and that's giving a little bit too bright of a vibe. So I'm gonna have to find like a nice buttercup yellow that complements the vibe of this deck a little bit more. So this is a no, but I'll find something. All right, well, thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed our first little look through of the Yellow House Tarot. I think that Heidi did such a nice job creating her own cozy little world here, and she should be really proud of her creation, and it's all very like internally consistent. I love the world building. I will be using this a lot. Thanks. Talk to you later. Signing out.